everybody. My name is Carrie Ann DiCaprio. I am the Donor Engagement and Outreach Manager here at the Orangeville Food Bank. I basically have the best job in the entire world. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to do a bit of a walk through different areas of the Orangeville Food Bank. We're going to sit in our community kitchen and talk to Chef Phil Dewar about community and what it means to him to give back to our community on an ongoing basis. We're going to take time to sit down in Heather Hayes' office, and we're going to talk to her about Hunger Action Month, which happens nationwide every September. And what does that mean for the residents of Dufferin County when we're serving over 1,500 people every single month at our two food banks? We're going to take time to talk to Mayor Lisa Post and chat with her about the Rooted in Community food drive. Why was it important for her to start this? How does she feel about this initiative that she, thought of and then got to watch as she spearheaded it happen? And this is the third one coming up on October 4th, and how it brings the entire community and surrounding areas together. And then we're going to talk to Savannah O'Reilly in our beautiful volunteer area with a hand-painted mural that was done by all of our volunteers that says, "Together we can." And we're going to talk about the opening of the Dufferin Food Share Grand Valley at the old schoolhouse at 27 Main Street North. How we are bringing resources to rural communities in Dufferin County where those resources have been overlooked for so many years. We want to make sure that equity across all of Dufferin County is paramount, and we are talking the talk and walking the walk and making sure that these resources are making their way out to rural Dufferin County. So come on in, let's take a walk through the Orangeville Food Bank. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning, everybody. It's Carrie Ann DiCaprio here, Donor Engagement and Outreach Manager at the Orangeville Food Bank. And I have Chef Phil Dewar here from Soul Live with us today. And we're going to talk about his commitment to the community and why he consistently gives back to us. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting with us today. So I'm just going to dive right into the questions that I have for you. When you think about all of the ways that you give to the community, what inspires you? What is at the heart of everything that you do?
Oh man. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and particularly back in the food bank. Personally, what inspires me to say that part again?
What inspires you to keep community at the heart of everything you do? Because you're all about the people.
Yeah, I think it's a big question, but I would say, on a high level, I don't really know any different. I grew up kind of in that way. I grew up in like a very small church community, which, each one kind of look after each other, and so it's just been built in my nature. Along my journey as a young man and also as a professional, so many people have come to be of aid in my journey, so it's just I feel like it's the right thing to give back. And also I think I've been blessed with a gift of food, and I think it's like a universal thing, so I try to use it as, I used to say use it as a weapon, but sometimes I think that could get framed a strange way. But I use it as a tool to connect, to interpret different things, to bridge gaps, also to reach people, and also as a form of expression. So I believe that, all those things are needed in the community at one way or one space or the other. And I think that answers the question.
Yeah, absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
Was there a moment or experience that shaped why giving back is so important to you personally?
Well, obviously we're an immigrant family, came to Canada, and certain resources were available to us. From the church community, again, there used to be, some folks who would put aside canned goods and put aside things for different families, and so just watching that take place and being the recipient of those things, I remember that stuff. And truly, even as a adolescent, 16, 17, some of my older brothers, they were kind of outside, doing outside things as young men. And I remember visiting them in spaces in Brampton, like shelters and food banks, and Just so glad that, while they were outside exploring the wilderness, that these resources were there for them, because I think that is the only reason why them and perhaps myself are here today. And so, yeah, I just was the recipient of these things. So I just remember these things as a young person, knowing that, wow, these things are there for folks. And so just kind of trying to participate in that now on the giving end. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think that there's so many of us that are doing what we do today because we have a history with food insecurity, with shelters, and it's important for us to be able to give back because it got us through those really challenging
100%.
times in our own personal lives.
Yeah.
And now we have this opportunity, and I know for me that screams true.
Yeah.
I want to give back. It is my calling, and I think you feel the exact same way.
That's for sure.
What is it that you hope that others take away from your gift to the community? What is it that you want them to see when they see you investing your time and your commitment to our community?
I think maybe for one that it's not a trend, maybe, or it's not an online thing, and maybe it's a lifestyle or it's a way of being. So maybe, consider it a lifestyle and consider it maybe a way of life. That sounds kind of deep, but I want people to think that in your small way, even if you feel like you're a small person or you don't have capacity, or volunteering your time, energy, effort is always a good way to go about things. Yeah, I think so.
You're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So one thing that a lot of people don't know is that Chef Phil does provide for us hundreds of meals every single month. These are ready to consume meals. They do not require any cooking, which is very important for those of our clients that are currently unhoused, or for some that are working 3 and 4 jobs and they don't have time to provide those healthy, nutritious meals. Chef Phil makes sure that there's always food in our freezer for them, and we couldn't be more grateful for everything that you do for us. We're so appreciative. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It's my honor, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you for your time today. You're amazing. Nice to see you. Good morning, everybody. It's Carrie-Ann DiCaprio, Donor Engagement and Outreach Manager here at the Orangeville Food Bank, and I have Mayor Lisa Post in the food bank with me today, and we're so excited because we are talking about our Rooted in Community food drive that is coming up on October the 4th. Lisa, I just have a couple of questions for you about why this initiative is so important to you. Why do you think the Rooted in Community food drive is such an important event?
So I think with the Rooted in Community food drive, what it does that differs from other food drives is that this really brings the whole community together. And I think really when we're talking about food insecurity in our community, which is continuing to grow, unfortunately it's not decreasing, it's growing, and the need at the food bank is growing. People in our community who need to use the food bank need to know that the whole community has their back. And with the Rooted in Community food drive, it really brings that to life by having every neighborhood have a part in it. Every community member can do something to support.
I think the thing I love about the Rooted Community food drive is it's community for the community.
Totally, it's neighbors helping neighbors,
1,000%. It is, and that's our vision. What message do you hope this food drive sends to our neighbors that are currently struggling right now?
Well, again, that the community has your back. Right now, we know that food insecurity in the community is going way up, and we know, and you know firsthand, that the needs at the food bank are going up. And right now, with 60,000 pounds of food going out the front door and supporting our community, and only 25,000 pounds of food coming in the back door in donations, this time of year right now is the most crucial time that we can address some of that going into the winter season. In the summer season, we know people are away and donations are down, and the shelves start to dwindle a little bit. But your need is going to be ramping up with Thanksgiving and Christmas and of course back to school. So we need to do our part as a community to set the food bank up for success and help take care of all the great work that you're already doing.
Now, just a personal question that I'm just sitting here thinking about. This is an initiative that you created, you have spearheaded, you took that map and you divided it into all of these zones. Seeing the success of the community all come together over the last couple of Rooted in Community food drives and looking forward to this one that's coming up, how do you feel about this initiative that you took, because it has really reached proportions that I don't think we ever expected it to.
I didn't expect it to either, honestly. And I feel just so proud of the community, and it was not all me. I mean, yes, I came up with the idea, but if it weren't for the great community that we have who all came together and stepped up and said, I can be a captain, or I can hand out flyers, or I'll be there the day of, and I'll help at the food bank unload. If it weren't for all of those community members coming together, something like this could never happen. And it makes me so proud of the fact that this shows what rooted in community really means.
Absolutely, it does. So can you just maybe give us some specifics on what to expect on October the 4th?
Absolutely. So every community member can check out the map online. It's available on the food bank site, on my personal social medias. Check what zone you're in and just donate. So all you need to do is show up and donate between 10 and 1 on October 4th, and we will make sure your donation gets recorded at the food bank.
Now, if I can't be here to make a food donation, can I make a financial donation as well?
Absolutely. So for every dollar that's donated, we do translate that into pounds of food. So if you need to make a financial donation, you can do it by e-transfer. Again, all the information is online with the email address offhand?
Yeah, so it's administration@orangevillefoodbank.org, and please use the password foodbank in all lowercase. And there's something at stake here. Like, there is a beautiful trophy that will go to the winning zone, right?
And of course, bragging rights for till the next food drive. And again, if you're making a financial donation, just make sure that in the comments of your e-transfer, you mark what zone you're part of, so that we can make sure that your donation is recorded appropriately.
Absolutely, that's a good point. Well, Mayor Lisa Post, thank you so much for coming in and talking.
Thank you for having me here.
Oh, we always love it when you join us at the food bank. It's such a great energy. And thank you so much for joining us today. Good morning, everyone. It's Carrie Ann, Donor Engagement and Outreach Manager here at the Orangeville Food Bank. And I have Heather Hayes. We're sitting in her beautiful office, our Executive Director, and we're going to talk about Hunger Action Month. Every September, it is a national event that happens, Hunger Action Month, and it's really about raising advocacy and awareness. So Heather, can you tell me why Hunger Action Month is such a key time for raising awareness here in Dufferin County?
Well, as most of you know, food banks don't receive any provincial or federal funding. We are primarily donor funded. We are an exception with the county's support and the town of Orangeville's support. So as we move into what we know is the giving season, sort of that September to December, 75% of everything that we need to build out, whether that's food or funds, is going to come in the next 3 months. And we also start, I think from a physical perspective, thinking, it's cold outside, it's getting a little chillier, sweater weather. And hopefully that brings us back to food and comfort. And there are many people in our community who do not have the same privileges of food and comfort. So I think not only does the season move us towards thinking this way, but from a practical sense, it's important for us to be able to raise awareness during the next 3 months to make sure that we have enough to get through the entire calendar year.
Absolutely. What is it that you want people to understand about the reality of hunger in our community right now?
So in our community right now, Orangeville and Grand Valley and those surrounding areas, we're feeding 1,500 people a month. If you were to look at the provincial stats, 35,000 people within Dufferin and Caledon accessed food banks in the last year. If you were just to pull our numbers, that would take you to 25,000 of those visits. That's a substantial amount of people accessing our services. And it's not who you think accesses the food bank. Every time we have a new staff person or a volunteer start at the food bank, I give the same speech. You're going to see people you know. And some people are like, I don't know about that. And then it happens. And it is a stunner for everybody because you didn't know that your neighbor was in need of food. In some cases, you didn't know your family members were accessing. I ran into a gentleman in the parking lot last night who stopped and said he is a father of 3. His partner does not know he's at the food bank. And he needed to come because he'd spent his last section of money on food and didn't know, he just didn't know how he was going to do it. And he was gutted by having to do that and then explained to me again, I am so sorry that I'm here. I didn't ever think I would ever come to a food bank.
And nobody ever needs to apologize for coming in. That is what we're here, and we are always so happy when people finally cross that threshold and say, okay, I'm here. And we're like, we're so happy you are here. But these are the stories that we hear every single day.
Yes.
So how can residents get involved to make a real difference during Hunger Action Month? What is it that it looks like for people in the community?
So there's several different ways that will make a difference for your friends, families, and community members who might be in need. The first is obviously food and funds. We know that it's a tough economic time and maybe you don't have as much as you used to have. But anything is a contribution. I talk about, we have one donor who gives $5.18 every month. And I know that's $5.18 that I can count on. That's a liter of milk and probably a dozen eggs, give or take, on our prices. So I can count on that. So those monthly donations are really, really critical to us and that sort of thing. But there's the advocacy piece too. We know that it took many levels of government and many iterations of past governments to get us to where we are today, which is a lack of affordable housing, a lack of housing in general. The state of our social assistance programs that we have right now, which are banana pants, $733 a month. Nobody can live on that. There is nothing I can do to teach you how to use $733 that will make the math work at the end of the month. It just doesn't work. And those policy changes that we need. When you're thinking about who you want to elect in the future, what is their stance on giving people enough money or supporting people with enough policy to be able to succeed, let alone thrive? Only 30% of the people who pay into the unemployment program in Ontario have access to it. That's ridiculous. The other 70% don't have access. If you don't qualify for EI, the only other program you have is the 733, which again, none of us can pay our bills on 733. So there's many things that we can do, advocacy being one, but also supporting us. Without provincial and federal funding, it's a big job your big job to figure out how we're going to do what we need to do to support people every day.
And I think that's what Hunger Action Month is really all about. It's about the community coming together. We know that we talk about food insecurity all day, every day, but this is an opportunity for everyone to get involved. Host a food drive at your business, make a donation, come by and see us at the Orangeville Food Bank and take a tour through with us and see what we're really about and all the different programs that we have in the community, so that when you are out and about talking about food insecurity and policy and procedure changes, that you understand how all the pieces of the puzzle are fitting together, right? Because it takes a village, and right. We're not a standalone. We work as a community together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no problem so great that we cannot solve it. And if we all did a little, owned a little, a community becomes much stronger, and we take care of those who are closest to us. And I think that's what this is about. In our world here at the food bank, there's no problem so great that it cannot be solved. We just have to talk about it and do our parts to bring the whole piece together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and chat with us today. Hunger Action Month is a really big advocacy piece with Feed Ontario and Food Banks Canada.
Yes.
So thank you so much for shedding some light on that for those of us that may not know what it's all about.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. We have Savannah O'Reilly with us here at the Orangeville Food Bank, and we're standing in our volunteer area today, but we are talking about something really important. We're talking about the opening of the Dufferin Food Share Grand Valley at the old schoolhouse at 27 Main Street North in Grand Valley. What an exciting time this is for us, right? Can you tell us what it is to you, Savannah, to see this schoolhouse repurposed as a food bank?
Sure, absolutely. So I actually lived in Grand Valley as a little girl. So I used to get to play on the steps of that schoolhouse when it wasn't open. So I have, a history with the school. But seeing it come to life and seeing it become a community center where people get service It used to feed minds, and now it's going to feed bellies.
Oh my God, what a great way to think about it. I
Right?
love that.
Yes. So
that's
it's very, very
amazing.
exciting, and I think it'll be good for the community to have that old building come to life again.
Absolutely, and it is a beautiful space. What part of the opening of this space were you most excited about?
Oh, the clients. So we had a very small space, and it worked, it functioned at our old location, but now having just this big, beautiful space where clients are welcomed, they have coffee and snacks and their own waiting space, and a big, beautiful shopping area. There's so many more opportunities for comfort and people to get around. Mobility, was an issue at the church, so it just allows so much more access to our services.
So it's fully accessible to anybody that wants to use
Yes.
it, which is awesome. Can you tell me a bit, you mentioned the shopping area. Can you tell me a bit about what that looks like? Because I don't think Grand Valley has always had that at their food bank, right? This is new.
It is new. So we used to have a hamper program where we picked items for the clients, and now we have a point system where the clients get a certain amount of points for their family, and they can take those points just like money and go around the shopping area and get items that their family needs and actually will eat. So it's a really more dignified way to service people in our community, and I think they really appreciate it. So it's a great opportunity.
I agree. So when clients are going through the shopping area, they can pick their own brands. Some of us are picky eaters. I only eat Heinz ketchup. So if somebody was to give me French's ketchup or no name ketchup, I'd be like, no, thank you. But if it came to me in a hamper and I didn't choose it, there's a very small chance that might actually get donated back to the food bank, and it might actually be wasted. So this actually helps to decrease the amount of food wastage, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've definitely seen a decrease in the amount of food waste or amount of food coming back from clients that they didn't want. We don't have those, not the complaints, but people obviously like certain things.
Of course.
They, would vocalize that with us, which we want because we want to improve our services always. But it just reduces that need for them to, get things that they don't want or their family won't eat.
Exactly. I love that. When you picture families coming into the schoolhouse, what is it that you hope that they're going to feel when they enter that space?
Just welcome and community and neighbors, and the volunteers and our donors put a lot of love into that building, and maybe that's it too. I want them to feel love. I want them to know that this space was made for them, so that they're comfortable and welcome anytime. And yeah, it's just like a big hug.
It is like a big hug.
Yeah.
So we have seen phase 1 is done, and so now phase 2, and we can just maybe chat about this, will be the creation of some office space. What is the hopes for that office space that's going to be built in the schoolhouse?
Yeah, so currently in Grand Valley, there's not a lot of option for social services or community services of any kind. It's just limited office space for rent. So we're really hoping to see some of our community partners that we have here in Orangeville be able to get into Grand Valley and have an affordable office space, a welcoming office space for people to access the services, the same services that they have in Orangeville. In other parts of the county.
Because we know so often rural communities are overlooked for these services that we may sometimes take for granted here in Orangeville. So being able to bring those services and having them accessible to people that are in Grand Valley that might not have the transportation to come into Orangeville to access those services really is just something that they've never experienced before. And I know we both lived in Grand Valley and know what services are missing there, and it's really important to us to be able to offer that. Is there anything that you want people to know about the Dufferin Food Share Grand Valley? Anything that you feel is important through conversations that you've had with clients, community members that you want to share?
I don't know if there's anything specific, but if you're interested and this intrigues you and you want to come out and visit, Joanna is there on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Carrie Ann's there on Thursdays as well. So you're welcome to pop in for a visit and just see what it's all about and get comfortable with this space because it's a community space.
Yes.
So we want the whole community to feel welcome there, not just those that are accessing our services, but the whole community. It was built for them.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. And I do hope that you will all come by and join us at the Dufferin Food Share Grand Valley, 27 Main Street North, and just come by and check it out. And we'll go for a tour. Thank you so much for joining us on our walkthrough of the Orangeville Food Bank. We hope you are as fascinated and excited about all of the opportunities that we have coming up in the next month and a bit and further into the festive season. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, 226-558-2109 or Carrie-Ann at orangevillefoodbank.org. I would love to invite all of you into our two food banks, the Dufferin Food Share Grand Valley and the Orangeville Food Bank, if you have any questions or want to see firsthand all of the magic that we get to witness watching here every single day.